What's going on, boys and girls? This is going to be part 2 of that first video that I posted where I broke down how I bet on the NBA and how I did what I did, right? This one is going to be completely player prop focused. I haven't looked at the markets or anything like that yet. I haven't really checked out any injury reports. This is just going to be a raw video. Not a whole lot of editing going on. I'll make some clips. I'll do some jump cuts and stuff like that so y'all can see, how we can just kind of get down to the point of things. But other than that, man, this is going to be very raw stuff. You're going to see my whole process. So sit back, enjoy. Before we get started, this is a very, I don't want to say rigorous process, but it does take some time. If you get 10 minutes into this video and you're just like, hey man, I don't have time to do all that stuff, use the link down in the bio and you can just sign up and tail all these picks that I get from this process. It's only $10 a week. Again, you can find that link down below in the description. Let's jump into it. All right, so first step, something you guys just have to do. What I do, I just type in NBA injury report. It takes you to NBA.com. This will get released every 30 minutes on the hour here, right? So right now, this is the 11:30 report, and it is currently 12:25. So a new one will drop in about 5 minutes. But this is all the injury reports so far that are available for the teams that are coming up here, right? As you can see, gives you a ton of info here. It tells you who's in, who's out, who's available, questionable, probable, doubtful, right? You get it. So one thing I like to do this early in the day is if I'm going to start looking at stuff, I want to look at games where there's not a whole bunch of questions up in the air, right? So a decent one here would be the Heat and the Knicks, right? No huge players that are up in the air. You got Andrew Wiggins for the Heat. He is questionable. One thing I like to do as well to maybe try to get an earlier jump on this information is I'll go over to Twitter and I'll just type in Andrew Wiggins, right? I mean, Twitter is one of the best sources you can use for news. And I found right here, this is a beat writer for the Miami Heat. Andrew Wiggins only did treatment at the Heat shoot-around today ahead of 7:30 p.m. at the Knicks. He's listed as questionable due to a lower leg contusion. Now, that right there would probably tell me that Andrew Wiggins is possibly leaning towards not playing. Usually those guys, if they're going to play, they're out there, they participate in shoot-around. He only did treatment. Does that mean he's not going to play? No. But that can be an indicator that, hey, maybe, he really needs some work. This could be a game where he looks to sit, right? Especially going up against the Knicks. The Knicks are missing Jalen Brunson as well. So we'll see what happens there. But that's something I like to look at. So, I don't want to bet into a game that just has all these questionable tags this early in the day. Especially with guys, with some higher end, value like this game. You got the Pacers, the Pelicans here. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton's questionable. Zion Williams, questionable. Missy, questionable, right? These are all Kelly Olynyk, questionable. These are all guys that are going to get a lot of minutes, especially Tyrese Halliburton. You got Aaron Naismith, questionable. Pascal Siakam is out. Miles Turner, questionable, right? Those are ones you kind of want to stay away from until you get some more confirmation, at least on a couple of the guys. So a lot of those we'll usually stay away until closer to tip-off. But until earlier in the day, we can get into it here. I mean, we can start looking. I mean, no real questions here with the Rockets, just all firm, outs pretty much. Nothing listed yet for Philly, but I have an idea of what theirs is going to look like. You got the Chicago Bulls, Lonzo out, Ayo Dosunmu out, Josh Giddey is doubtful, and Coby White is probable. So, if you have a doubtful and a probable tag, it's pretty safe to assume what that's going to be right there. If a guy ever gets downgraded from probable to questionable, he's not playing. Almost every single time, he's not going to play. So, Coby White, as long as he stays with this probable tag, he's probably going to play today. It looks like Utah is playing, or Chicago's playing Utah today, so that would actually be a good matchup too for a guy like Coby White. So that's a game we'll look at here first. So let's go to the Bulls and let's go to the Jazz, right? As you can see, right, this is all nothing hidden, right? FanDuel balance right there, really high. Not really high compared to what some people have, but it's up there. I showed my FanDuel statements the other day. I've made almost $30,000 so far in the year of 2025. So I know what I'm doing. But without further ado here, let's just go in and let's just see what the lines are at right now. So Coby White, if I had to guess, his number is probably going to be about 23.5. It's 24.5, so it's a little higher than I thought. But that's actually within good reason there too. Coby White, I mean, especially with the Bulls injury report, if we go back up and look at this, right? So, I mean, Josh Giddey is doubtful, so he's probably not going to play. So, one thing what I'll do to start piecing this stuff together is I'll come over to NBA.com. All this stuff is free. So, I'll sort it by last 5 games. I'll go to team, and for this case, we'll go to the Bulls. We'll click Get Stats. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the usage rate, right? Now, obviously, you got to take into account the minutes, right? So, Javon Carter, is 42.9 usage rate, but he's only played one game over the last 5 games, and he's played 3 minutes. So, it doesn't really hold much weight. So what you want to look at here is guys with minutes, right? So you got Coby White, Josh Giddey, Kevin Huerter, right? Those guys right there playing a good amount of minutes. Coby White has been the clear leader here in usage. Usage, it really only has to do with shooting. That's it, or the usage is the exact formula is how the percentage of a time of possession ends with you, right? So a shot attempt, a free throw attempt, a turnover, right? That drives that usage up higher. So as of right now, Coby White is the #1 guy in terms of usage for the Chicago Bulls. I already have an idea of what this number is going to look like because we just bet on Coby White the other day. But if you want to look at percentage of teams' field goal attempts, right? This isn't his shot percentage. This is the percentage of shots that Coby White is taking based on the whole team, right? So Coby White, when he's in the game over the course of these last 5 games, he's accounted for 31.8% of the Chicago Bulls shots. That's really high. And something else you want to take into account with too here is Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey's out. Josh Giddey is second in all of this stuff, right? So Josh Giddey is second in usage. He's not going to be there. In field goal attempt percentage, he's second with 23.6. He's not going to be there either. In terms of field goals made, right? Coby White's #1 right there. He's really high up there. Free throw attempts, Coby White #1, so he's going to get to the free throw line. In terms of assist rate, Josh Giddey's probably the highest guy. Yeah, Josh Giddey's probably the highest guy. So Coby White, not really a guy you'd want to look to take for assists. He would mainly be a guy that you would want to take just for points. But let's look at the Utah Jazz here. Like I said, guys, this is going to be a longer video. There's probably going to be no cuts in this whatsoever, unless I got to get up and go to the bathroom or something like that. But up until then, man, this is going to be very, very raw. But let's just go ahead and look at last game real quick because I want to see what Coby White did when we bet on him last game. Coby White, he had a 29.3% usage rate last game. In terms of their field goal attempts, 28%. So Coby White last game actually didn't have as high of a usage rate as he's had over the last 5 games, and he actually took a little less field goals. That doesn't really matter. It's just data to have, right? If we want to tighten it up a little bit, from 5 we can go to 3, right? We can look at his usage rate. Coby White right there is second. Obviously Josh Giddey's first, but he's doubtful tonight. Field goal attempt percentage, 30%. So we got an idea for where Coby White is going to be at, okay? Now let's go ahead. Now I already know the answer to this, but I just want to show you guys, right? What I would do after this is I would open up a whole nother tab. I would go to team. General, advanced, right? And I would go to, again, I like to look at stuff in a tight sample size. So we'll go to 10 first. We'll go to the last 10 games. And what this is going to do, we're going to sort it by defensive rating over the last 10 games. So the Utah Jazz over the last 10 games ranked 22nd in defensive rating, right? You want this defensive rating number to be low. So like the best defensive team in the league over the last 10 games has actually been the Toronto Raptors. They are a very good defensive team. They play very, very hard on defense. You got the Pistons, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Cavs. This top 5 makes sense. These are 5 of the best defensive teams over this last 10-game stretch. Versus if you sort it by defensive rating, remember, this high number here is not very good. And the Jazz ranked 22nd there. I believe if we tighten this up, I believe their number's even worse. I could be wrong on that. Their number's actually not terrible over the last 5 games. They're ranked 17th. They're middle of the pack, but they're still not a great defense, right? If you want to get an idea for what they've really, for what like that true number is right there, you can go all season segments just to see where they've been at the whole year. As you can see, the whole year they ranked 29th. So that kind of just tells you like the real, like what they are as a team. The Utah Jazz, they have had a bunch of injuries this year. So especially with their bigger guys, Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Walker Kessler's missed some time as well. They're not a great team, but they've also been battling injuries too. And something else you have to take into account when you look at these is, who were their opponents and everything like that. We're not going to get into all that right now because, we know they're not a good defensive team, right? Like I said, we can look at their last 10 games. We know that their defensive rating is low. If you want to look at another thing to look at here would be pace. Utah Jazz, this is actually really useful information. They're the fastest playing team in the league over the last 10 games, right? If you want to tighten it up, we can go to last 5. They're still the fastest playing team. So something that this is telling me right now, right, is if you want to get a little bit more before we get into that, right, you can come over here, team, general. You can go to opponents. You got to reset this here. You can go to last 5 games, 10 games, whatever increments you want to break this down on, right? You can go to opponent field goal attempts per game, which basically just tells you how many shot attempts their opponents have taken on average, which is a good indicator because it tells you, you know, the speed of the game and stuff like that, and how many opportunities their opponents are going to have to possess the ball. You know, how little turnovers are they turning the ball over? It's more scoring opportunities, right? And the Jazz rank 26th. So 26th, that's really, really up there, right? I mean, opponent field goal percentage is actually not terrible. 46% is actually, you know, pretty solid. I mean, it's not phenomenal, but it's not bad, right? It's about middle of the pack right there at 14th. Opponent three-point attempts per game. Like I said, guys, this isn't like make or break stuff here, but like the Utah Jazz, now something like this could be, right? I mean, you're giving up 43.8 field or three-point attempts per game. Opponent three-point field goal percentage, right? They've given up that many. They're still allowing 36.5%. You know, opponent free throw attempts per game, right? They rank 26th. So you're starting to see the picture here, right? You're starting to, like, again, I know this is tedious, guys. If this isn't something you want to do, if this isn't something you have time to do, just click the link down below, sign up for the group. It's $10 a week. Exit this video. That's perfectly fine. If you want to keep learning about this whole process, though, stay tuned, right? So we're seeing right now that the Jazz are going to provide, defensively, a lot of opportunities to score the basketball, right? Josh Giddey he's doubtful, which means he's probably not going to play. Coby White is someone who, if we want to go look at his last couple stats here, right? So we can go back to players, sort it by team. Instead of going usage, right, we'll just go with traditional. We'll go last 5 games this time. And we'll sort this by, we'll go to Bulls again. And we're just going to look at Coby White's shot volume over these last couple games, right? So field goal attempts. Coby White, as I get a league for our ad for NBA League Pass, Coby White is shooting the ball almost 22 times per game. Shooting the ball 22 times per game against a very bad defense, a team that's going to play very, very fast. While, you know, his number one teammate, the only real shot competition is Josh Giddey, who's out. So those 15.5 shots are going to have to be dispersed. Does that mean Josh Giddey's going to come out, or does that mean Coby White's going to come out and shoot the ball 35 times? No. Okay. He might shoot it 25 times, though. He might shoot it 20. He might come out and shoot it 15 times, right? We don't know that. We're just using the data that we have, you know, at our access, at our fingertips, to try and, you know, put this puzzle piece together, right? Now, in terms of three-point attempts per game, he's taking about 8.8, which is number 1. Making about 3 a game, shooting 32%. Not terrible, right? That's probably about league average right there. Not an assist guy. I've told you that before. Coby White's not going to be an assist guy. You know, he's getting to the free throw line about 6 times a game. He shoots about 94%, which is really good. We saw that the Utah Jazz do foul a lot, and they do allow a lot of free throw attempts. This is good information to have right here. You could get a lot deeper with this if you want to. I mean, you can see this right here. I mean, he's averaging 29. He's almost 30 points a game over this 5-game stretch here. And now his number is sitting at 24.5. So, like, that number looks really good. I mean, that number looks really, really good right there for our first leg. Like I said, guys, it's not a crystal ball. This isn't like, oh, like this is it right here. This is how we find these plays. It's just something that, hey, this stuff adds up, right? This stuff adds up. The story's making sense, right? Another guy, you can literally look to the other side of the ball, the other team. Colin Sexton has been a usage monster lately. If you go to player combos here, right? If we want to look at Colin Sexton, his points plus assists is 23.5. I feel like that's really freaking low. I mean, if we go to my bets, we just had Colin Sexton last night. We had him over 22.5. He finished with 26. You know, obviously, you know, just because he did something yesterday, don't mean he's going to do it again today. He just had a back-to-back, right? So, I mean, who knows? But we, you know, Colin Sexton, we had him yesterday. We had him part of the James Harden parlay they cashed, turned 600 into 2,000. But yeah, so I mean, let's go back to that game, the Bulls and the Jazz. We can look at Colin Sexton now too. I mean, who knows, man? I mean, that could be something that we throw right there. You know, those could be 2 separate legs, 2 parlays. It can be the same parlay. You know, I really don't know, right? But let's go look at player touches too. So this is another good stat to look at. So tracking player touches. We were looking at Colin Sexton last night. Let's go to the Bulls and just see how many touches he's getting. Now, Josh Giddey's probably going to lead him in touches if I had to guess. Yeah, Josh Giddey. This is another thing. 89 touches a game over the last 5 games. Josh Giddey, right? Josh Giddey's out. Josh Giddey's out. He's doubtful. That means he's out, right? Coby White, again, those touches have to go somewhere else, which is why Coby White is the second candidate to really get those, right? To really get those touches, right? You got Trey Jones there, playing about 33 minutes a game. Trey Jones, I'm not really worried about that. I'm not really worried about Trey Jones getting a ton of points. If we look at points per touch, which actually is a pretty good metric, I mean, anyone that's playing full starter minutes, I mean, Coby White's is almost double compared to Josh Giddey, which makes sense because Coby White's a much more aggressive shooter. He's going to look to get his buckets. So Coby White's there, man. I like I said, not a crystal ball, man. Anything can happen. But we're going to put Coby White in here as our first leg. I really like this. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could even maybe try to buy him down to 23 or whatever, 23 and a half. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep him at 24, man. I'm going to trust his shot volume. And another thing too, right? So this is another thing. So go to StatsMuse, right? If you want to go to StatsMuse, I would recommend just buying the full membership for StatsMuse, even if, it's not that cheap. But Coby White, and remember, we don't really look at last game trends or anything like that. That's not really what I'm about. But one thing I will do is I'll go Coby White. My mistake, I accidentally hit the hotkey to stop recording. So we're going to go Coby White last 5 games. I went to go type 10, and 1 was my hotkey to stop recording. So Coby White last 5 games this season. You have to be very specific with that, or it'll just give you his last 5 years. So the reason we're looking at this, I don't even care about his points. I don't care about his points. I don't care that he scored 44 back here. I don't care that he went under here. I don't care that he went under here. What I care about is those shot attempts. A shot attempt monster. I mean, dude, he's going to shoot the ball 20 plus times. If the Bulls can keep this game close, if the Jazz don't get blown out, whatever, right? These 2 teams are not very good. If they can keep this game close, this bet should hit. If this game could stay close just based off of pure shot volume, he hasn't shot the ball well, if Coby White can just shoot the ball 40% not from 3, just 40%, high 30s, which is not a good shot percentage, he's probably going to hit this bet. 20 shot attempts, shoot the ball 38%, bet's going to hit, right? 3-point attempts, right? He shoots a lot of 3-point attempts as well. In terms of free throw attempts, he gets to the line, decent amount, right? About 6 attempts per game. And when he gets to the line, he probably ain't going to miss, which is really good too. So yeah, man, we're going to take Coby White over 24.5. That's going to be the first leg. This is actually even going to be a bet. Did it again, hit the hotkey, but this is going to be our first bet. We're going to take Coby White over 24.5 points. We are going to add him on a parlay, but I'm going to take him straight because I really like the bet. I think the odds are really low at -108. We're going to bet a little over $1,000 to profit 1,000. Lock that in. And let's go and find our next leg. Like I said, Coby White, he's still going to be our first leg in there, so I'm going to add him back. Let's go 25, Coby White, 25 plus. There it is. Okay. All right. Let's go find our next leg now. So what can we look at now? Again, we want to look for something this early in the day without a ton of questions in the air, right? So Warriors, complete stay away, especially if a guy like Steph Curry is questionable. Complete stay away. Right, that's one you do not want to go at. I mean, the Nuggets right here, they're littered with stuff here. Aaron Gordon questionable, Jokic questionable, Murray questionable. Will these guys probably play? Probably. But it's just something you want to stay away from. I mean, if for whatever reason Jokic and Murray both get ruled out, everything's going to swing dramatically. Right? I mean, Golden State's going to probably add about 5 points to the spread. The game will shift dramatically. So stay away from that until you get a little bit more news. I believe the Grizzlies were a decent one here too. John Morant is out. Jaren Jackson is going to play. It's Gigi Jackson, but Jaren Jackson is going to play. Santi Aldama is doubtful. Let's keep going down here. The Kings, no real key pieces there on the injury report. So that could be a game we look at as well. No John Morant. Screaming Jaren Jackson or Desmond Bane for me. I'm not really a guy who's going to look at Jaren Jackson for rebounds. But I mean, if you come over here and you were to look at, you got a guy like Sabonis too. Let's go ahead and let's look at just where these 2 teams are ranking, right? Let's just get an idea for them. It's kind of be tough to go last 5 games for the Kings because they haven't had Sabonis. So that's it. We're going to look at the Grizzlies here. Let's just go literally last game, right? Let's just go last game and see what we're looking at here, right? Let's go. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go player. Oh, wait, I already have my players tab over here. We're going to go player. We're going to go back to usage. We're going to look at the Grizzlies. We're going to look at the Grizzlies here. The Memphis Grizzlies, where are they? Right there. We'll go last 5 games. And let's just go get stats, and let's just try to get a brief overview. So no Ja Morant. Desmond Bane, he's going to be in, obviously. Let's look at their last game, because I know Ja Morant didn't play in the last game. I'm just curious to see what their usage rates were. So, again, this doesn't matter. He only played 8 minutes. But Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane, I mean, it's those two guys. I mean, it's those two. I mean, Jaren Jackson, 29.9 usage. Desmond Bane, 25.4. They both play over 30 minutes. Those are the guys, right? You know, percentage of field goal attempts right there. Brandon Clark actually took a decent amount of field goal attempts, 26.9%. You see, now that I look at this, I don't know. I don't really know if I'm going to be that comfortable doing this. One thing, though, that I do see is there's no one on the Kings injury report that's like a really big name, right? They did release injury report? No, okay. The question is now is, will the Grizzlies even be able to keep up with a team like the Kings with Ja Morant out? Ja Morant is their leading shot taker, you know, by a mile. And as you can see here, kind of turns into a bit of a mess when he's not out, when he's not in there, right? If you want to go look at this from more of a traditional perspective here, right, we can, again, just go to last game because we're just trying to see what they did last game. Advanced filters, we'll go to team. We're going to go down to Grizzlies again. And we're going to just see what the shot attempts look like. It's Jaren Jackson and it's Desmond Bane. Here's the thing, man. Jaren Jackson played great. He scored 31 points, but he only took 18 shots. I don't like hammering guys like that when they had an overly efficient night. I don't think that's very indicative of future results. He had a great matchup last game. He killed it, 13 of 18, hit all 4 of his free throw attempts, right? I'm going to stay away from the Grizzlies side of things because, again, I just think that can skew stuff. He's going to be matched up against Sabonis tonight. Sabonis is a very good, he's very good down low. Desmond Bane, could be a guy to look at here. If you wanted to go points plus assist, with no Ja Morant. I wonder what that number's actually at for Desmond Bane now that I think about that. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at that. Desmond Bane, let's go player combos. Points plus assist. Desmond Bane, 30.5. Yeah, I'm probably going to stay away from that. Right there. Let's just go look at how these teams play. Again, we can go last 10 games here because, Ja Morant, he's not a huge defensive factor or anything like that. So that's all fine right there. That's not really going to matter. We can sort this by, like I said, we're just trying to get a brief overview here. So not anything overly specific. This is opponent points allowed. We could see, let's see where we're at. Let's see where the Grizzlies are at. I don't know if I scrolled past them. Grizzlies. Where are the Grizzlies? Man, the Grizzlies ranked 21st. So the Grizzlies are giving up a decent amount of points. The Kings, I don't think are that good. They're actually not terrible. They're giving up about 111.1 points per game, but again, that doesn't tell the whole story. You mainly want to come over here and you'd want to look at advanced for that and look at their defensive rating because that's kind of a per 100 possession indicator instead of just an overall. They could just play slower. The teams they played could have been slower. So defensive rating over the last 10 games, in terms of where the Kings rank, they rank 17th. The Grizzlies rank, where do the Grizzlies rank? Grizzlies rank 14th. So pretty similar right there in defense. If we look at offensive rating, let's look here. Let's look. Where are the Kings? The Kings ranked 11th and the Grizzlies ranked 12th. So these two teams actually pretty identical. Pace is going to be a big difference. Going to be a pace-up spot for the Kings. Grizzlies will probably be towards the top of the league here. Grizzlies ranked 5th. Now, that's going to be slower without Ja Morant. That will definitely be slower without Ja Morant pushing the pace. So that's something to keep in mind. The Kings, they're all the way down here at 25th. If we want to look at, what's it called here? Let's go to, what do we want to look at next? Here? Let's just go to traditional again. Last 10 games. Again, guys, I know this is extremely tedious. This is my process. This is what I do. I do this full time. Don't have a job. This is how I make my money, man. This is how I make my money. This is how I earn my subscribers that sign up for this group. This is what I do. I make a lot of money doing this. If you guys don't have time to do this, just click the link down below. It's $10 a week. $10 a week, man. But that's sort of my field goal attempts. Grizzlies shooting the ball a ton over the last 10 games. But again, I just don't know what kind of pace they're going to play at without Ja Morant. I mean, we can go look at the last game, but again, it's just a one-game sample size. Sort of by field goal attempts. I mean, 92. They still shot the ball a ton. Like I said, there's a lot of people above them because it's just a one-game sample size. But like if we go to the last 10 games here, now again, no Sabonis or anything like that for the Kings for the last couple games. So the Kings are down there, but we knew that with their pace. Let's look at field goal percentage. Kings actually have a pretty high field goal percentage, but they also don't shoot the ball a ton. Grizzlies ranked 13th in field goal percentage. 3-point attempts. Let's see where we're looking at here. Wow, the Celtics shoot a lot of threes, man. Where are the Kings? Grizzlies ranked 17th, and the Kings, I would assume they're pretty low. Yeah, the Kings are 27th. So not a ton of threes. In terms of, efficiency, the Kings rank 8th. They're not going to shoot it a ton, but in terms of efficiency, they're top 10 in the league, which is not bad. The Grizzlies, on the other hand, they're going to shoot it a ton. And they're not going to shoot it a ton, but they're the worst three-point shooting team in the league over the last 10 games, and that's probably because of Ja Morant. Ja Morant has really struggled shooting the three ball over that time, and he is far and away their number one three-point shooter, or number one three-point volume shooter, I should say. Let's go ahead. I want to get a better idea for what Desmond Bane is looking like, and this is a really good way to do that. So we're going to go back to player tracking, right? Players tracking. We're going to go to this is through touches. We'll do touches first just to get an idea. Memphis Grizzlies, right? We'll go last 5 games. We'll go get stats, and we're just going to go to touches. Ja Morant is number 1 by far. Or not by far, actually. This is actually surprising. Desmond Bane is 70th. He's 70th. He gets about 70.2 touches per game. Even with Ja Morant in the lineup, that's still his average. Let's look at how he did last game. This could kind of maybe change our attitude on on Desmond Bane here today. 76 touches. Wow, Jaren Jackson only had 45. Desmond Bane had 76. Scottie Pippen Jr. had 61. And I believe Scottie Pippen Jr. is actually questionable today. He is. Scottie Pippen Jr. is actually questionable. So, I mean, again, he'll probably play. But, I'm not necessarily, that still doesn't really, it doesn't really faze me that much. You got points per touch. Jaren Jackson's probably the highest from last game, yeah. This is all just last game, This is last game. This is all just last game, right? Jaren Jackson, he's not going to keep that number going, right? That he had a very efficient night, overly efficient night. Let's go ahead now and look at passing. Now, this is like one of my favorite things to look at in terms of betting on player props. You go player passing, right? Again, I like to go last 5 games, and we'll just sort it by the Grizzlies again. That way, we're just seeing Grizzlies players. And we're going to go get stats. Again, I already have the NBA app and I already have League Pass. Passes made. Desmond Bane makes about 49.6 passes per game, which is actually above Ja Morant. Potential assist. See, this is what I'm talking about. Ja Morant makes less passes per game than Desmond Bane, and he averages about 6 more potential assists. That's because of the driving kick that Ja Morant has, right? Desmond Bane, that's not really his game. Desmond Bane is much more of a perimeter guy. Ja Morant's going to run that pick and roll. He's going to get to the basket. He can ISO. He can take you off the dribble. While he's taking you off the dribble, he can draw that, the help side defender, kick it out to the corner for a 3. That's why his potential assist number is so much higher. That's just not Desmond Bane's game. Let's look at, my camera just got really bright. I really don't know how to fix that. But let's go last game again, and we'll just see what Desmond Bane was at last game. Maybe that number was higher. Wow. So his potential is, look at this. See, right here. This is what I'm talking about when I say overly efficient. Desmond Bane had 8 potential assists. He had 8 potential assists, and he had 8 assists. A potential assist is simply dribbling the ball, you pass it off to someone, and they shoot it. And they can go in, they can miss, they can airball. It doesn't matter. It's a potential assist, right? That is an overly efficient performance right there from Desmond Bane. So that's just something you don't want to look at. That's something you don't want to just weigh in terms of like what we're trying to do here. So No, that is, we're waving that off. I wanted to see that number at like 14 minimum. And no, that's just something you don't want to do right there. That's a number we're going to stay away from. Let's go ahead and look at the Kings now, because I still do like the Kings. The Grizzlies are not that good of a defense. So let's go ahead and look at the Kings. I'm going to see, again, they just got some bonus back, so we're going to go last game with the Kings. Now the King, Sabonis isn't really like a shot chucker for them. So I know he's not. I'm still on what's it called, assists and stuff like that. He's gonna be the leading passer, right? Don't know what in the world this is here. 12 assists with 7 potential assists. I don't really know what is going on there. That's got to be some sort of a mistake. That your assist number should not be higher than your potential assist number. Not really sure there. So we'll just ignore that. Let's go to rebounding. How well did Sabonis do rebounding the ball? I feel like this would be a good game for Sabonis with rebounding. Rebound chances, he had 17. He played 30 minutes, 11 rebounds, 64.7% rebound chance percentage there, which is really good. Obviously, Joe Val, he's going to get a lot less minutes now. He made us a lot of money while he was in. He was a very good rebounder. And I just think it might be the way the Kings play their defense, the way they set things up. They try to run on the break. They really let one guy be the dude who goes and grabs the board. Rebound chances, it just means if you're the closest to the ball coming off the rim. That's all the rebound chances. Sabonis gets a ton of them. He's number 1 in the league. And while being number 1 in the league, this is over his last 5. This is just his last game. But like, even if you sort this by last, I don't know how many games Sabonis has played out of his last 10. I don't think he's played a ton. Yeah, he's only played in 3 games. But I mean, he averages 19.7 rebound chances per game. His rebound chance percentage is a little lower here. That's not his actual number. His number is a lot higher than that. But I mean, that's really, really good. If we wanted to look at how good the Grizzlies are at rebounding, you can go to teams. We could go to tracking again. It's the same thing, right? Just go to rebounding. And for a team like the Grizzlies, when you're looking at team stuff like this, you can kind of look at the whole year. Man, I wonder if my camera's like overheating or something like that. It's like really freaking white. Give me 1 second. All right, much better. Fix the camera. But anyway, if you want to look at how teams are rebounding, again, you just go to teams, tracking, rebounding. You can sort it by season segments if you choose. Not 100% necessary when you're just looking at rebounding if a team hasn't had a ton of like lineup shifts. And that's pretty much how the Kings have been. Same thing with the Grizzlies. So we can go to rebound chances here. Grizzlies, they get a ton of rebound chances per game, about 87.4 rebound chances per game. But the number you want to look at is rebound chance. They're just not a good rebounding team. Like, they get that many rebound chances per game. And based on, I mean, they're the worst. They're actually the worst. I didn't even know this. They get more rebound chances than any team in the league. And their rebound chance is the worst. That's absolutely abysmal. I mean, that's terrible. So, something you can look at here is if you wanted to go to we can go to Grizzlies depth chart, right? If you want to get an idea, just to visualize what their starting lineup's going to look like. Obviously, Jaren Jackson's going to be their starting guy. Zach Edey, he's going to be down there too. Zach Edey's not a bad rebounder, but he's not going to play a lot of minutes. Zach Edey's only going to play about 20 to 22-ish minutes, if I had to guess. Going to be right around there. Yeah, but last 10, 22 minutes per game, right? Great rebound per minute guy. Great rebound per minute. But he just doesn't play a ton of minutes, right? So he's not going to be out there a ton. And then if you want to look at, like I said, their other guy, Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark's not a very good rebounder at all. Athletic guy, not a good rebounder. He's a little smaller. So, I mean, Sabonis, man, hold on. I'm going to have to cut y'all off here, I think. Give me 1 second. All right, I had to log back in. Didn't want y'all to see my login screen or anything like that. But, let's look at what Sabonis' rebounds are at. If his number is anything, there's no way his number's less than 12, right? Yeah, minus 178. Is it 13 and a half? It's 12 and a half. Sabonis, okay. So this is what we're going to do. Based on how many shot attempts these teams are going to throw up, right? The Grizzlies, they're going to shoot the ball a ton. What's the spread for this game? Without John Morant, the Grizzlies still, this is pretty much like an even game. Kings are at home. We're gonna take Domantas Sabonis over 12.5 rebounds, I think. I think that's the best bet right there. This is going to be a 261 plus 261 parlay. We're going to throw $600 on this. It's one unit for us. $600. Accept bet. Look at the wager side. Look at the balance. It decreased, right? You know, legit. Not just, you know, pulling your guys' leg. But yeah, man, that's pretty much how I go about finding all these plays. That's the process. I know it can be a little tedious. Some days it's a little quicker. Sometimes it takes me a couple hours, right? I don't know how long this video is. I'm going to find out. Should be pretty easy to edit because there was really no cuts. But yeah, man, if this was helpful, like I said, I can understand why a lot of people won't want to do this. I do this every single day. I personally love doing this. So if you guys want to, man, and you don't want to do all that freaking work, just click the link down below, sign up for that premium group. It's $10 a week. You guys get all the plays. You're still committing to that research. It's just me doing it for you. You're just outsourcing it, right? Totally up to you, right? You guys want to do it? Go ahead, have a day. But other than that, man, I love y'all. Peace out.